Hi, my name is Tyler Duffy, and I'm the host of the Building the Bridges to a Better Future podcast. I was born and raised in Lacombe, Alberta, spending my formative years growing up on a buffalo ranch. After high school, I became a power engineer and spent 11 years working in the energy industry. I left that career behind and moved on to study a psychology degree at Red Deer Polytechnic. While completing that degree, I read one thing that stuck in my head that began to change my thinking, shape my beliefs, and ultimately guide my decisions from that point forward. The Canadian Mental Health Association had published some research that said that 80% of lifelong mental health issues have their root in early childhood trauma. Let me say that again. 80% of lifelong mental health issues have their root in early childhood trauma. Now that got me thinking. Does that mean that 80% of lifelong mental health issues are preventable? So research has shown that early childhood trauma is one of the major causes to lifelong mental health issues. So I feel, as a society, we should recognize that and implement programs to reduce, buffer, and eliminate early childhood trauma. Otherwise, we will never be taking a preventative approach to mental health issues. We will be locked in a perpetual process of reacting to mental health issues when they surface later on in life. Like the old saying goes, rather than mop up the bleeding, you gotta stop the bleeding. Now, this was new information to me, but professionals in psychology, education, and the social work world are well aware of this. And community leaders in Red Deer had started to create programs to address this issue by increasing the amount, variety, frequency, and quality of social support the kids get at critical stages in their social and emotional development. The hypothesis is that if we implement positive social support programs for youth and maintain them over years so that they become a permanent part of the Canadian culture, then it may be possible to turn the tide and begin a downward trend in the number of people that struggle with mental health issues in future generations. In this podcast, we will be interviewing the key people that created these programs and have worked tirelessly for 20 years to maintain them. The goal is to share what we've done in Red Deer, why we have done it, and how you can do the same in your community if you're passionate about taking a preventative approach to mental health as well. Come and check it out as we begin to build the bridges to create a better future. Hello, welcome to the second season of the Building the Bridges to a Better Future podcast. My guest today is Tatianna. She works at the Red Deer Public Library. And this podcast is all about showcasing programs that have been created in Red Deer to try and facilitate positive youth development so they navigate the different stages of social and emotional development in youth and then become successful and mentally healthy adults. So in season one, we covered the creation of the Grow Kids program in Red Deer that's been running here for 20 years now. And Tatianna was a big part of that once we expanded it to include both the boys and the girls. So she worked on that, and she also is involved with a whole bunch of other programs here at the library, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, so we're at the Red Deer Public Library today, and we're gonna learn about the service dog, Katja, and how she works with kids to help reading, and a whole bunch of other really interesting stuff that Tatianna is involved with. So, Tatianna, would you like to introduce yourself to the audience?
Well, my name is Tatianna Tilly, and I am a strategic planning and engagement manager at Red Deer Public Library. I have been working in Red Deer Public Library for 19 years now. For the last 12 years, I have been working and looking after the DO branch of Red Deer Public Library, and among many different projects and programs are a few that I'd like to talk to you about today. And one of them is our youth literacy program, which is a new name for a former Reading Pulse program. And we've had that program in Radio Public Library since 2000. So we celebrated 25 years in June for this program. But this program, like many other library programs, grew and changed throughout the years. We also added Katja, our facility service dog, to all library programs for kids at the library. So she became our official facility service dog 2 years ago when she graduated from Aspen Service Dog School in Edmonton, and she is the first facility dog, official facility library dog in Alberta.
Lovely.
Yeah.
She's having a little nap, isn't she? The first question we got is, you were an early organizing member in the creation of Grow Kids, and it's been going for almost 15 years now. What motivated you to join that organization team and then remain a part of it for 15 years?
Yeah. Well, no, first of all, I remember it very, very well because it was the first year of me being a DOE branch manager, and that event was initially meant just for the boys, and the DOE Center was the place where the event was about to take space. We were approached by the organizing committee because we are in the DOE Center, and we are partners with the DOE Center. We are partners with St. Patrick's School and G.H. DOE School, and I thought, what a great opportunity to put library on the map for grade 5 boys, because I think, and it wouldn't be a surprise for other people to know that you do not see a lot of grade 5 boys in the library, and any opportunity to show that library could be fun and interesting for the boys, I think it's a fantastic opportunity, and this was one of the reasons, and that was my professional reason to be a part of that initiative, especially because I started working at Radio Public Library as a community development librarian, and I know how important it is for the library to foster good community partnerships and relationships, and that's why I always say yes to any partnership opportunities. And also, I am a mother of 2 boys now, young men, and so I know how important it is for boys to have a lot of ways to learn about the world around them, learn about the community they live in, and if we could teach them a little bit about what they could find in the library, then it's like double plus, right?
Perfect. One of the sessions that you brought to the table with the Grow Kids Day was the Human Library, which I thought was a fascinating idea, and having observed it, it's just fascinating. So where did that idea come from, and tell us about that.
Well, talking about anniversaries, Human Library also celebrates 25th anniversary.
Oh, wow.
This year, and the idea and the concept originated in Denmark. So it's a trademarked event, and I am a Human Library organizer since 2010. And before Grow Boys, we organized a few human libraries for different demographics in Red Deer. So we had a pretty good idea how impactful it could be. And then when I started thinking about what we can offer grade 5 boys in the library that would keep their interest, then I thought that, you know what, they may not all be great readers, but stories come in all formats and in all different forms. And honestly, living books, it's a person. and each person has many stories. But if we find the real great people, real great role models from all walks of life for boys, and that's why I always strive to find a lot of male role models or unusual female role models that maybe boys wouldn't meet very often in their life, right? And then they share their stories with the boys, just through the dialogue, right? And I think that is a perfect format for the boys to connect with the stories, to know that the library is the place when you can connect with stories in many different ways. And human library is one of those ways. And I think that the fact that that session stays one of the most popular sessions in Grow Kids events all these years, it's kind of keeps me going. And even though it's not an easy task to recruit 25 volunteer living books for the event who would be open enough and interesting enough and outgoing enough to be able to talk to grade 5 boys.
Yeah, and just kind of give us a brief outline of the framework of how the human library works.
Well, so human library is a concept that is, you could say, like, don't judge a book by its cover. And in its original concept, it was created to help people to challenge their prejudices and their stereotypes. And if you have a human library, say for adult audience, you can go with some real controversial living books who may tell their stories to the people, and then when people have some stereotypes or prejudices, then when they meet the real person and connect with the real person, then they may reconsider their stereotypes of prejudices. So in the context of Grow Kids event, it's like we concentrate on providing boys, kids who come to the session with a variety of living books from all walks of life. Mm-hmm. So we have, and we always ask living book or potential volunteer living book what story they would like to share with people, because we all have multiple identities, and it is up to living book to decide which identity or which story they would like to bring to the table to talk about. Mm-hmm. So it's a quite high maintenance process on our side to find the people, to connect with them, explain the concept and say, okay, if you would pick one of the things or one of your identities in your life that you think may be misunderstood or people have stereotypes about or don't know much about, what would it be? And what would be your book title be? And then they start thinking about it, right? And in that process, we come up with the book title, and we have a huge library now. Mm-hmm. of book titles, and then they come up with the little summary of their story, which sounds very controversial, right? And then we compile a human library catalog, which has, we create a book cover for that living book with the title and a little summary and an illustration. And we create a visual of the human library catalog of that day. And then when kids come in, we say, okay, so we have a human library session for you today, and those are the living books that we have in our catalog. Yep. So you have a choice You could pick one book that you'd like to connect with and talk to, and then you have 20 minutes with that book, with that person, and that's how we start. And then we managed to get a couple readings for each boy, because then we just rotate them, and then they meet a surprise book. And we have some bestsellers. We have some books who come year after year with different identities. Like we have Jock Mackenzie is one of our bestsellers who's been with us. Jock Mackenzie.
Okay.
And he's been with us he just missed last year, but he's coming back this year. He told me that. And he worked as an educator for many, many years. But his identity that he chose for Human Library was fisherman. So he brings all his gears, and that's what we really ask people, living books, to do. Just bring illustrations and whatever props you can to enhance your story, to make it really interactive. And then he talks to the boys about what fly fishing is all about, what fishermen do, what kind of tools they have in their belt to catch the fish and what it's all about. And then he even takes them outside and let them do the thing with the rod. Yeah. So kind of, yeah. So that's one of the examples how it works. And it has been working really, really well. And we had all kinds of books. We had Mayor Ken Johnston. He said that was one of his most favorite event of all years. He's been a bestseller for last 2 years of Grow Kids that we've hosted here. So, and yeah, and another great side effect of a human library is that we have an opportunity for all the living books to kind of come together and hang out and learn about each other, and they love that also a lot, because it's really unique opportunity to connect with people who are super interesting but maybe never ever would connect with in real life.
Yeah, that's one thing I love about observing it, is it creates all of these connections that wouldn't exist otherwise, right? So that's a strength of it, I think, is it promoting connection. And then with the Grow Kids program itself, I find it very interesting, is I think it gives boys the opportunity to explore their passions a little bit and help find their own identity. Kind of
exactly
thing.
And they see when they come and see all those people, and we try really hard to have very, very diverse collection of books so that everybody can see themselves. And this is a concept that we have when we put on displays in the library, right? Because it's very important for kids and adults to see themselves on cover of the books, and no matter how they look like, right? And that's when we put displays in the library, that's what we strive. We strive to have book covers that represent the diversity, the reader diversity, so that everybody who walks in the library can see themselves in those book covers. And that's the same concept that we use when we recruit volunteers for the human library. So kids can walk in and can see all kinds of people who speak maybe multiple languages even, or who look very different, but you know what, like we have how many, 800 boys?
Yeah,
and I mean, not all of them would come through the human library session, so only 100 would have that opportunity. But even in 100 of boys, I mean, right now you have a huge diversity, right? And we want them to see that people like them grow up, become very successful adults, no matter if they're passionate about something that they're doing. They are they have fulfilling lives, and that's what it's all about, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's like when I was doing my psychology degree, the concept of identity formation was something that really resonated with me, and the research literature on that shows that, if people find an expressive identity, which is kind of a psychological term for a passion, right? Like something that you just love doing and you do it irregardless of a reward. It's the process of doing it, right? Something to devote yourself to. And what they find with identity formation is people that end up struggling with mental health issues later in life, they often lack an expressive identity. So they either, well, it goes both ways. They either lack it, so they don't have a passion, or they're trying to be too many things. So either one can create identity diffusion, which is associated with, mental health problems. So anything we can do as a community and a culture to help kids navigate that identity formation successfully is likely to
help them.
Help them find their identity and become healthy, successful adults. So okay, so one of the programs that happens here at the library you said you wanted to talk about was the Youth Literacy Spotlight Program. Can you tell us how that program is designed to facilitate positive youth development?
Okay, so as I said, so Youth Literacy Program is a new name for an old program which was called Reading Pulse. And we celebrated 25 years of this program in June. And the program started as a seasonal summer program for kids who needed a little extra help with their reading. And we had it in that format till 2020 when pandemic hit. And we would have 3 summer sessions when we would have, with the help of volunteers and summer students, we would help up to 100 kids who were referred to teachers from all schools in Red Deer to receive at least 6 hours of one-on-one tutoring in reading.
Nice.
And so later on, we added 2 winter sessions, but it was still seasonal session-based program. And it was an only program that we were able to run in person throughout pandemic because it's one-on-one program, and we were able to use a combination of the proper location. We ran it from downtown branch during pandemic, and safety measures that were protecting both tutors, student that we would hire for that, and kids, and still providing that service to the community in person. So after pandemic, we decided that, and we have been having really great feedback from the community about it. And the only suggestion that we kept getting all the time was, can we have more?
That's a good sign,
because
isn't it?
6 hours one-on-one tutoring is good.
Yeah.
But having an ongoing program would support better.
Was
right?
that a suggestion from the kids or
from the parents?
From the parents.
From the
Yeah.
parents,
Cool.
yeah. Because and then we thought, okay, so we have adult literacy program that also runs on the idea of one-on-one tutoring, and it is ongoing program. So 2 years ago we reformatted the program, and now it is ongoing program that runs October through June. And so we started after pandemic. We didn't have any volunteers left, right? So we started with 0, and like last year we had 60 matched pairs of learners and tutors who worked all last year in all 3 library locations, not just here at Doe, but at Timberlands, at Doe, and downtown. And when we switched to ongoing format, it helped us to provide more flexible model for parents, because when we ran it as a session, it was very rigid times and dates, and it was after school, so it didn't work for all the parents, especially working parents. And now the program is learners can have 1 hour of tutoring, one-on-one, a week with the choice of location and choice of time and day, because library is open 7 days a week, and kids and tutors could meet even on the weekend or in the evening. We match the pairs based on their availability. And so this program is specifically created for kids who are a little bit behind. And you were talking about importance of psycho-emotional development in kids. And actually, when I looked at the numbers of kids who are being referred to this program by teachers, because it's a program by referral, we do not advertise it just to the community. I noticed the trend that a few years ago, one of the organizations in Red Deer ran a research on how many kids enter kindergarten in Red Deer who are behind in 5 areas of their psycho-emotional development. And so on average, we have about 800 kids who start kindergarten in Red Deer, and about 100 of them, so about 20%, were behind a little bit. So they were not high need kids who need like extra help and specialist intervention and stuff like that. They were just a little bit behind, but that a little bit behind can turn into a big behind if they don't get that nurturing one-on-one attention. And we both know, like we have teacher strike going on right now, that it has been deteriorating in Red Deer schools, right? That EA's number of educational assistant, number of children in the classroom, all really influence how much learning can happen for a child who is a little bit behind. And reading is one of the basic skills.
Yeah, it's hard to advance in education if you're struggling with reading.
If you struggle with reading, right?
And especially like, so the number of EAs is dropping and the number of students is increasing, right?
Exactly.
So that's we have to counteract that somehow.
Exactly. And so, like, I think that this program really feels that need for those kids in the community. And kind of numbers, and I know it's anecdotal, it hasn't been proven, like we don't test children who are being referred to us, right? So it's anecdotal evidence, but like just because the number stays really similar, so I think that we are there for those kids. And the importance of it, that is, sometimes, as I like to say, attention is the basic form of love. And when kids get that from the tutor, when they are here one-on-one, and our philosophy of this program is that it's learner-based tutoring program. It's not curriculum-based tutoring program. We are not an education institute. We are here to inspire love of reading and find that what stops that particular child from enjoying reading, right? And find that. That's why we use a lot of materials, multiple formats. We train our tutors to listen to the learner, and they get that attention. And this is one of the most important goals of this program, so that those reluctant readers can turn into lifelong learners, because they overcome those difficulties. And it's a free program, just like any library program. It's free, and yes, some parents can hire paid tutors for their kids, but some parents can't. And I firmly believe that public libraries is a form of social lift for kids and adults in our community that is very, very important. Like I believe in that. And some of those kids come from families with a lot of children, where there are two working parents, right? And when they come to the library and they have an opportunity to grow their self-confidence in that age from 7 to 12,
Yep.
which is so important, then I think this is why I think this program does contribute. And it's say, okay, what did you just help kids to learn how to read? But it's so much more than that, because they become more confident, they receive one-on-one attention, they know they're important, they matter, and it helps them grow.
Yeah, so with the youth literacy program, do you have any not testimonies, but do you have any examples of a particular individual that really benefited from the program?
Of course, we have lots of really great stories, and so two stories came to mind. Like one story was when we celebrated our 25th anniversary, and we did our family night in June for all the families, and one family came. We also offer youth literacy for French immersion students who learn French. We have less French tutors that we'd like to, but it's just the reality of it.
Yeah.
And so we had a little girl, and she had a French tutor to help her with French. And mom, when she came to the family night, she was ecstatic. She said, my girl went up 10 reading levels.
Oh, wow.
In a year.
Oh, wow.
So I want to say that we don't need your program anymore next year. But I'm very, very happy and grateful. And I say, well, we are very happy and grateful that it happened, because that's the best outcome we could ask for, right?
Yep.
And it was and she had an opportunity to have a free French tutor for almost a year, and that was the result. Right,
Perfect.
which was really, really great. We also now offer this program to English language learners who are in middle and high school, because for the last 3 years we had a very large influx of kids who came from Ukraine, and there were a lot of middle and high school students who are otherwise academically very strong, but they did not have enough English. And having a tutor who helps them makes a huge difference in their academic performance, because it helps them to because they already know how smart and successful they can be in their own language, right? But they lack the English language skills to show it academically. And we actually have a girl who came, and she was in ELL class at Lindsay Serber. And academically, she was not happy there, because yes, she was receiving extra help with her English, but academically she was not challenged. And her parents made the decision to move her to Hunting Hills in grade 10. But the Hunting Hills teacher said, but we don't have any ELL support. So you have to think really hard, because she would have to go through school with no support with her English. And they decided that they will go for it. But she was already at this point working with the tutor. And her and her tutor formed amazing connection. So they have been working for 2.5 years.
Oh, wow.
And it was having that tutor was really crucial for that girl to be successful academically in the school where she had zero English support. And she does work very hard. She does work very, very hard. She takes summer classes, and her math marks may be near 100, and her English mark maybe 60%, but you know what, she keeps working on it, and she has that tutor help, and it made a huge difference for her.
That's great. So let's talk about Katja.
Okay.
What's Katja's role at the library here, and how does she help kids find themselves and excel?
Okay, as you could see, I don't know if you felt calm.
Yes,
with her on the couch.
Yeah.
Radio Public Library, because we are really amazing place. I am biased, but that's how it is. So we used to have reading programs with dogs before, but we had therapy dogs who were volunteer therapy dogs, and the program was called Reading Tales. It was Reading Tales, and way before. But we know how beneficial it is for kids to read to dogs, and there is a huge amount of research that has been proven that reading skills of kids who read to dogs actually improve. And there were research that was having different groups of kids, and one group would read to a dog, and one group would read to a stuffy, and one group would not have any additional support. And those kids who read to a dog for a certain number of days, weeks, showed marked improvement.
Interesting.
Yes. So if you are interested in real research about that, Katja has a webpage on our website, and all that research is cited there.
Okay.
So if you are interested, please have a look. It's rdpl.org/Katja. She has her own webpage. And this is why we have a reading program with Katja. Also, I was very lucky because, again, pandemic changed so many things, right? Mm-hmm. And we know that people come to the library not just for the books. I mean, yes, we are here. We have all those resources, and people come and access them, but also people come for connections. And this is an only space in our community when people don't have to buy anything, and nobody is gonna sell them anything. It's a free space, accessible and inclusive, and unique programs, free programs that we can provide people with matter. So, Katja, I was a puppy raiser for Aspen service dogs, and Katja was my second puppy. Okay. Who I was about to raise for them. And how it works is that puppy raisers raise a puppy for 1 year, and after the first year, when they receive basic training, they move into adult training stage, and they move to a different raiser, volunteer raiser, and they start going to the school to specialize in different tasks that they can do for their own person. But when Katja became our puppy, then I had all those ideas, and again, our volunteer base was kind of decimated by pandemic. And I thought, wouldn't it be nice to have our own library dog that we could schedule for different programs and not be dependent on volunteers and dog volunteers, which very hard to manage. And I pitched that idea to our CEO, Shelley Ross, and she pitched that idea to the library board, and we were approved, and we entered into owner-trained program with Aspen Service Dogs. And another, my colleague, Karen Jock, who is the Timberlands branch manager, she is also Katja's handler, and we have been training Katja together for the last 1.5 years of her in that training program. So, and now Katja has a contract in the library. She works 3 days a week. So she has her own program, which is called 6-Day Read with Katja. The program is fully booked. Anybody can book a half hour with Katja. And how it works, that kids come and pick a book and read to Katja for half an hour. And while they sit, yeah, that's her reading couch.
So the kid sits on here with the...
No, kids sit like I sit right now, like in front. I sit behind Katja because we don't leave Katja alone with the readers, because some readers need some help with reading, and I always ask, I say, are you comfortable if I would help you with some words if you can't? And they say yes or no. And some come because they feel much more relaxed when they read to a dog, because she does not judge. She is there listening very well. She's a great listener.
She must be very educated.
Yeah, she is.
She knows a lot about stories.
Well, actually, we count number of reading session, number of books, and I prepared the number. So actually in 2003-2004 year alone, she participated in 205 reading sessions and listened to over 550 books read to her. So she is a well-educated puppy, and yes,
where are you going,
and
good girl.
And some kids would like to read to her because they don't have a dog at home. And for them, it's a really good opportunity to see what a well-trained dog is all about, right? So she also visits schools. We do outreach visits with Katja. She participates in all the special programs because she likes to dress up and do different things. So she supports classes that come to both Timberlands branch and Doe branch, because the kids come from the school when they visit the library, because we are also a school library for Barry Wilson School and St. Patrick. So she has her working cart full, and I could definitely say that she helps so many kids to feel better about themselves and being better readers. Yeah.
So is it? There's a schedule online, and
there is a schedule online. Yes.
Hopefully they can find. How far ahead is she booked?
She's booked. So we have fall session, winter session, spring session, and then July. So her winter session is fully booked till the end of mid-December, and then people get on. And she has some ongoing readers, and we have some new readers all the time. Because of the teacher strike, we added a couple more sessions to her regular schedule, which filled very quickly. So yeah, so that's, and another great side effect is the library staff loves Katja too, and she provides a lot of emotional support to the staff and library visitors as well.
Yeah, who doesn't love having a puppy at work, right?
Well, some people don't, but this is also why every time when Katja is at work, we have a poster on the door that says, okay, today we have a library facility dog. If you have an allergy, you be aware that she's there. Yeah.
I'm kind of curious about some of the research that you talked about that's on the site. Do you want to elaborate on that a little bit? What has the research found?
They're magical.
They're magical.
You know, reading to dogs is magical to kids.
So they read out loud to her.
They read out loud to her, and I know I myself was very skeptical. I myself was very skeptical. I'm thinking, okay, what does it? So you read to a dog, what's about? But for kids, it's magical, especially for some. And I cannot explain. It has been measured. Like there has been definitely improvements in reading fluency, in self-confidence as a reader, in kids who were known to read to dogs when they did those controlled studies. So I would refer people to those studies. I just know that she brings a lot of comfort, and she lowers anxiety. Because, you know, if kids are already a little bit behind in reading, right? And then they know their classmates are not, right? It creates anxiety. It really does not help their self-confidence, right? But when they read to Katja, and this is why when they read to Katja, it's just them and Katja, and I'm behind, right? Like I'm not in any way present in that connection. And some kids pet Katja all the time when they read, and some read and say, okay, how much time do I have left? Can I visit with Katja? Like they just want
to connect and cuddle with the puppy.
They want to connect and cuddle, and you know what? And then it's and she also, you could read to Katja in many different languages. And I heard from one of the parents of a child who came from Ukraine that she did notice how her child anxiety really lowered after she has been coming and reading to Katja, because so that's how it is.
You're a talented puppy. You're a good listener, apparently.
And this is actually part of training her as a facility dog, because Aspen Service Dog actually trains facility dogs for victim services. Like in Red Deer, we have 2 working dogs, 2 service dogs in Red Deer Victim Services who work with kids and who provide that emotional support when they have to go and to court and be witness or whatever. So it's just, there is science to it and magic. It's science and magic.
That's a powerful combination. You
That's
science
right.
and magic.
Science and magic.
Both working together.
That's right. And she's very cute. It's actually
adorable,
it's actually unique to have a chocolate Labrador as a service dog. I think we are very lucky. We have a great kennel in Alberta, in Medicine Hat, and they breed excellent Labradors in all colors.
Nice.
We were just lucky to get a chocolate one.
Good girl. Oh, hello.
We are not done yet.
We're getting pretty close.
Pretty
so
close.
What are kind of some of
we
your...
want to keep her there.
She's...
for the duration. Okay.
So just kind of recap. How do you feel that the programs here at the library help address those gaps and improving kids' reading and their self-esteem and whatnot?
Well, like I said, we are open 7 days a week in all areas of Red Deer. So we have 4 branches. We have so many. You get a hug. You get a hug. She can do a hug. Yeah. So library programs are free. We have books in all formats, like audio, e-formats, regular formats. We have some amazing dogs We have human library once a year. And I think this place is really magical because there is no pressure. You could come and you could discover different stories in different formats, whatever works for you the best, and connect with people who can help you to find just the right book for you.
Nice.
Yeah.
Power of story.
Or learn whatever you'd like to learn.
One thing just popped into my head as kind of as our closing thought. If other schools or libraries are interested in trying and bringing a what do we call her, a therapy dog?
She is a facility service dog. That's her official.
So how does if other communities think, hey, this is a great idea, I'd love to do this, and how do they go about?
Well, they can contact. There are a variety of service dog schools that they contact. And I know that in particular Aspen Service Dogs in Edmonton, they trained facility dogs for a variety of places. I know that there is a hockey team in Medicine Hat, that professional boarding school for talented hockey players. They got a facility dog for the players, just to keep their to provide them emotional support when they are away from their family and friends, right? And training all the time. There are senior homes who have facility dogs, and there are some children family centers in Edmonton who also got it. So there are owner-trained program or at Aspen Service Dogs, so you could contact them. Or you could just contact them and have a fully trained facility dog. Gotcha. There are multiple schools, multiple service dog schools where you could contact and inquire.
Is it a waiting list? Or does it takes a while to train them? Or
it takes 2.5 years to train a dog, and there is cost. And the cost is not small. So that's why I feel we were very fortunate that the library approved getting a library dog. But I think now everybody is like on board of that and knows that we get way more, and that is an investment. But I mean, it's up to an organization to decide if it's worth it and if they have the staff who can undertake it. But we have lots of places in Red Deer where you could contact and talk, like Red Deer Victim Services. They have 2 service dogs. We are open to answer any questions. I know that I think either that sexual assault center, I think they have a service dog. I'm not 100% sure, but there are places and there are service dog schools that you could contact and find the dog.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, I think that wraps up our time here. Thanks for sharing everything that you know about the literacy programs and how they can help kids. And we're all about helping kids develop positively as we move forward into the future. So
and Katja is doing something that she's doing for some of the readers for you. So she puts her head on their lap and she's like right there. She says, okay, Tyler, you can read to me anytime.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for your time, Tatianna.
You are very welcome, Tyler. Thank you.
Stay tuned. Sorry.
Thank you for including us.
No problem. And stay tuned for the next episode. We've got 7 more episodes coming up with different people working with kids in Red Deer, all to promote positive youth development. So we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you.